Welcome to another episode of CarpFishing.Tips. This weekend we were back at 50 Rand Dam here in Alberton, and we were trying to figure out if going to the same position as last week was a good idea or a bad idea, and if it was just more of the same. We decided it would be a good idea to try the same spot as we did the week before. That way we could see if we caught more fish or less fish. Did we perform better? Did we perform worse? So what we did was we stayed in the same place as we were last week. We were lucky that the swim was open, and this time we cast our rods closer towards the margins on the left and right, and this was after some fishermen to the right of us last week told us that they'd caught a lot of big fish closer towards the margin rather than out in the middle of the lake. And as luck would have it, we had 4 bites this weekend. 2 we landed and 2 we lost. We also helped a young fisherman catch his first carp, which was quite exciting. The rigs we were using this week, only 3 rigs. One has blow train and tutti frutti infused millies with chop chop and devil's fork. The other one has 2 fake millies with cheddar and honey as the bowl dips, and the third is again plain with just some plain old sweet corn from the frozen foods aisle on a hook bait with a PVA mesh bag with corn and peas inside and some breadcrumbs, and a hook bait of sweet corn and peas. We didn't use any bowl dips on that, and that was our setup for the day. We tried to take a video of the first bite we had, and it turns out we can't even operate a cell phone camera anymore. And we just ended up taking like 3 different pictures of the rod. What I can say is that where this rod is pointing is where we pretty much cast out our bait on this rod. It was in that general direction, probably about exactly in that line of that rod, just in front of those reeds there. So the first carp we actually managed to land was 2.5 kilos. It was on blow train and tutti frutti millies with chop chop and devil fork dips. It was a good little carp, gave us a good scrap. It's a pity we missed the one before it. Somehow they got unhooked. We do use barbless, well, not barbless hooks, but hooks that have had the barb pushed down, so they are barbless. And we don't normally lose fish. I don't know why this weekend we lost 2 fish. This is the second carp that we caught, 3.5 kilos. This was on the sweet corn hook bait with PVA mesh and millibomb. This was actually caught on a little telescopic blue rod. I was packing up and I was pulling the lines in, and that line had a little bit of bait still left on it, so I threw it out to the left of the swim, and we actually caught this carp. Yeah, it was a nice little catch. And in fact, the family that was next to me with the kids that were trying to catch carp, their youngest actually reeled in this little monster. He was very excited. Since we're using PVA mesh these days, and it's worked out for us, we had a 40mm PVC pipe with a stopper on the end of it. We made it for the bank sticks as a holder, but we just decided to use the 40mm PVC pipe and just stuff them in there, and that works better for us. So I had this and I thought I'd give it a try as a PVA mesh tool, and it works perfectly. It does exactly what you need it to do. Tie a knot in the one end of the PVA mesh, push it down into the bottom, cut off the length with a little bit of a lip over the top, and then stuff it with all your goodies, close it up and tie it off on the other side, and you're good to go. Really cheap, simple solution for PVA mesh. Oh, and then our rod pod, you would have noticed from last week's video, if you saw it, the one wheel came off. when we were taking it down the hill. So we made a few adjustments to see if we could fix it. So what we did was we took the nuts and we found that they almost fit into the 20mm PVC T-junction, not T-junction, PVC joint. So what we did was we just tightened the bolts on either side of that, and then put the washers on either side of the wheel, and then tightened the bolts around that. When we took it out on this weekend, we didn't have the problem with the wheels coming off, so that was a good thing. And yeah, we're slowly gluing it, gluing all the sides together to make it a permanent structure, as we're not really finding any more faults with it in terms of it breaking or not being useful in any sense, in any real sense of the word. So we're basically making it permanent. I'm sure there's a few of you that know about engineering or DIYing or all the rest of it. Please be gentle, we are learning. And that's it from us, guys. Top tips for this weekend was basically, once you find the honey hole, stick to it. Because I mean, we had 4 bites on one rod with exactly the same pattern in exactly the same place. And listen to other anglers around the bank. The weekend before, the guys fishing to the right of us actually told us that we should be fishing more towards the margin, because they picked up some good fish there. So we altered our strategy, and we ended up with 4 bites and 2 landed fish. So, you know, local knowledge, isn't it? And what other tip do we have for you? Oh, the PVA mesh trick with the breadcrumb works really well. It also means that you can chum with it as well, which is great. Well, that's all from us, guys. As always, share with a carpy friend.